Hi, everyone. My name is Karen Prechtel Thompson, and I wanted to share my personal, very personal journey of how my vulnerability has led to my long-term success in my weight loss. I really battled with this topic because, well, it's challenging to talk about, right? And so many people that I know, ask me, so why did you get into coaching, life coaching? And I would share, I was on a weight loss roller coaster. I gained 60 pounds, I lost it, and I wanted to help other people do the same thing. And that's entirely true. What I wasn't sharing was really why I gained the weight. So I decided to share my story because my passion in life is to really help people become the best versions of themselves and to really allow themselves to live their greatest life. And so here it goes. So I was physically abused my entire childhood. And from the ages of 10 to 12, I was sexually abused. And the feelings I had around that were, as you can imagine, ashamed, embarrassed, afraid, and just incredibly insecure. And the way I dealt with all of those awful situations was to eat and withdraw. Food didn't hit me. Food didn't molest me, right? It was comforting. So not sharing my pain and not being able to open up with those that I cared about and cared about me, not asking for help, not really allowing myself to be vulnerable really led me to gain more and more weight. So by the time I was 22, I was 60 pounds overweight. So what did I do? I came to a point where I have to do something. So I did what most of us do, right? When we want to lose weight, I ate healthier. I started to work out. And did I lose weight? Yeah, I was 22. So doing those two changes, absolutely. I lost 60 pounds. Did I keep it off? Yes. Well, how did I keep it off, right? And that's where really the magic is. And so, because so many of us are in a vicious cycle of losing weight and gaining it back, and we look for external solutions, like the latest, greatest diet, or sign up for a gym, or Orange Theory, or a boot camp. And by the way, all those things are amazing. What I decided to do to keep my weight off, this is because any of us can lose weight. How do we keep it off, right? Was to focus on why I got heavy to begin with. And if I don't address that, I wasn't convinced that I was going to be able to keep my weight off for the rest of my life. And I really wanted that to happen. So for the last 20 years, I have been really focusing on my internal work, thinking about how I got to where I got and how that impacted my life. My self-esteem after all of this was just truly shattered. And how that translated into my life through internal work that I was understanding was, as a young adult, it was more than about being overweight. So I never thought I could be in a loving relationship because I didn't feel I was worthy. Early on in my career, I didn't take risks because I didn't think I was smart enough. So it really was much more than my weight. So my internal thoughts matched almost, this is the only way I can really think about it, my external care, right? So there's lots of things we can do when things like this happen in our lives, I had a choice. We all have choices. I could have felt really sorry for myself and stayed in where I was from an emotional perspective and really victimized and things like that. And a lot of people will probably understand, right, based on what I experienced. Or I could step into my fear and understand why I think the way I do. And I decided to just jump in and just figure it out, right? which is a scary thing to do, by the way. It is when we really start to go within. So I also started to share. I shared with those that I trusted, and people really listened and they really cared. And that was the moment. And if you haven't had one of these moments, they're pretty fantastic. But trust me when I tell you this, when you start to work on your internal stuff, it will happen. So that moment, when I realized I was going to be okay, because I did not think I was going to be okay for a very long time. And here I am sharing, with my friends and people that I really trusted, my fears and sharing those experiences and, feeling empowered for the first time in my life, empowered, I get goosebumps thinking about it still to this day. And with the internal work, I was truly able to understand myself on a really deep level. And it's pretty freaking cool because I think I'm pretty awesome. And I was able to move forward. So before when a trigger would come up, I would look for external things to validate me. Like if I was harmed, I would have a piece of pizza, right? That's my validation. Now, when triggers come up, and by the way, triggers will come up. It's a lifelong work that you do, and you can address them quickly. That's the cool part. Now I just see it coming up, and I'm like, okay, what's this all about? And I chat with myself internally. I chat with my wife about it, and I work through it in a way that's healthy and keeps me going forward, right? So that's my story, and that's why I do what I do. I figured out, again, this is a lifelong journey, you guys, and how incredible it is to allow yourself to be vulnerable and how that manifests into your greatness. It really does. And this is not just about weight loss, right? It's almost like weight loss is the byproduct of what you do on the inside, right? So this is why I do what I do. I want to help people on their internal journey for outward success. So, and maybe as you're listening, you're all, well, I didn't have a rough childhood. I had a really great childhood. Awesome. That's great. I'm so happy. That's exactly the way it should be. But perhaps you have some, internal dialogue that's just incredibly damaging. And I'm not talking about something that's so bad, but you start to have these negative thoughts every day and they just manifest into something bigger. Whatever it is, the internal work is what leads to your success. So it's really imperative that you go there. So I'm just going to leave you with this, with 3 questions. And just be really honest within yourself. And you can have this conversation with your significant other or friends or whatever, but are you truly where you want to be? Is your internal dialogue damaging you? And are you living your life in fear or based on fear? And if you've answered yes to any of these, reach out to me. I want to help you. This is what I do. I understand it, and I want to help you. I want to help you just be the most beautiful person that you are, and I want you to see that person. And just reach out to me. You could message me on Facebook, my website, whatever avenue you'd like to. Some of my friends who have my phone number, text me. I'm here for you. And if you feel this video would help anybody else, share it with them. Because this is what life's all about, is helping and supporting each other and really elevating one another to be their most beautiful self. So that's my story. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to be really vulnerable and share that with you. Have a beautiful rest of your day and week, and I will see you soon. Thank you.